Hey everybody, so this is for our elementary leaders. We have our first all small group day this Wednesday. And so just real quick on the craft, meet Bob, stands for Books of the Bible. And we encourage creativity with this. It's something super fun. Connor drew it for us and I think it turned out really cute, and Miss Jess decorated this one in particular. We'll have a couple other samples, but we really want the kids to have fun and make it their own. We just want to provide some examples. So we decided this would be a great first starter for Books of the Bible, so B-O-B, Bob. And just so you know, the logistics of this part will take place of the chapel. So they will go into the same area, Curry and Chapel, but we will have seating for 36 kids in the Curry. So the only group that will need to be in the chapel will be fourth grade in the chapel with a smaller set of tables. So that's how Wednesday will work logistics wise. And then we will just ask y'all, there's directions in there, and I'm actually gonna show you a little video from Jess on how that works. Just be aware that we need you to really monitor the supplies, help with all the gluing and like portioning out glue dots and that kind of stuff so we don't have a mess on our hands. But the idea is we want it to be quick and we want it to be done within that 30 minutes and dry so that they can just hand it to their small group leaders to take home. So all the small group leaders will need, I can provide Kroger bags if you need it, or just a little tote bag if you want to bring something, but you'll just have to hold on to your stack of Bobs for your group so that you can travel with your kids and they can take them home with them at the end. That's the only way to really make this work. So that's the first part, and let me send you to Jess.
Hey everybody, this is this week's craft, and this is Bob, and we are going to decorate him with lots of things. So the challenge is you have to use at least 5 embellishments. We've offered you 9, but you need to use at least 5. And if you choose not to use an embellishment, that's fine, but then you need to use 10 different colors using crayons and markers, which we will provide for you. So if you take a look down here, we are offering up rhinestones. So I do have a limit to all of them, so they don't use everything. They may have 1 strip, 2 to 3 flowers, because if you see my Bobina, I made her have flower eyeballs. Then you can use up to 2 or 3 bottle caps, because they might want to use these for eyes, and then put the eyeballs on top of those. If you grab you'll need somebody here to monitor, because if you grab up one of these, you'll also need an adhesive for the bottle cap to stick on here. Okay, little mini pom-poms, they can take as many as they want, but they need to use them. Foil, we have lots of foil. If you look in this Bob, we have foil pieces to give a different texture. We'll have plenty. We won't cut it all, but we'll have some sitting behind, so if you run out, then one of the volunteers can cut more. Up to 4 buttons each. On here, I used them for controls, but they can also use them for eyeballs if they'd like. Again, up to 4 only. Then for the eyeballs, they can have up to 3 because they might want to do something crazy. I have regular eyeballs here and then monster eyeballs over here. They're blue, purple, I think there's a pink and green. The only thing I ask is that you please do not mix the eyeballs. I painstakingly separated them, so they can take up to 3. And those can be put on with Elmer's glue. Then they can use pipe cleaners if they choose. I used a full pipe cleaner here and just twisted it up. And then I used 4 different pieces, so I cut one to make it really small for hands. These will be best attached with glue dots. The glue dots also need to be monitored by how many they get. I think two for this one, and this one I think was 2 as well. That we'll start with that, okay? Then we have yarn. Yarn can be placed with Elmer's glue as well. On this one, I wound it around, and we're gonna have the volunteers come around with Elmer's glue to squeeze it on if that works. Actually, that will work better than just having glue everywhere. So I think that's it.
And volunteers are going to actually have glue bottles, right?
Yes, volunteers will have glue bottles, and there will be glue sticks, because the foil will go on with glue sticks. Some of this other stuff can go on with a glue stick. That was on with a glue stick. So the kids will just need to raise their hands when they're ready to glue.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now for the classroom part. For K1, this does not replace your activity time that you do with Miss Celia's plans in the Ministry Center. Your schedule is the same, But when you go to music, your rotation is upstairs, just like we did the first day. You'll go to your classrooms, you'll look on your roster to see what classroom you were in. Every small group has their own classroom. And for kindergarten first, we have these awesome new Bibles, Friends with God. And there is going to be some stories in there you're going to read. And as you can see, it's actually written from like the perspective of, this is Wow, Just Wow, the Day God Made Me by Adam. So I've got a list of stories you're gonna read with the sequence here. Pick somebody different to read each story and give the kids, like your youth, have a chance. Just make sure, you read it with animation in your voice. And at the end of each story is a little question. What's one thing in God's creation that amazes you? And then you can stop and y'all can talk about it. And then you go to the next question. So that's gonna be a simple story time for y'all. The idea is you're gonna hopefully get to Adam's story, Eve's story, and the story of the Exodus, which is a recap of what we talked about in chapel. And then if you're done with all that, had all your discussion and you're looking at it and you have 10 more minutes, I have a list of other stories from Genesis here that you're welcome to pick from and read. And just encourage different people to take a chance and read to the kids and enjoy. And if y'all get into a great discussion, don't feel rushed like you have to hurry through. We just want to provide more stuff than not enough. And that takes place of music. And that's for K1. Okay, now for 2nd through 5th for their small group classroom time. We're going to actually be using this book to start with as our guide. And we're going to go 8 through 11, which talks about how the Bible is a mini library. They're also going to get one of these handouts, which is not intended for them to do anything with. I just want them to be able to take it home. They'll be taking home their Bob craft, and kindergarten through first already has this, but it's just a way for them to see and to make note of the different bookshelves and the way the Bible is broken down. So that is in tandem with this. And then you'll go through go to page 12 and 13, which talks about how to look things up, how to find the book, the chapter, and the verse. And with that, you're going to get them to work in pairs, and there's going to be enough for each kid couple to have one Bible between them, and let them look up Proverbs 30 verse 5 so they can practice finding their memory verse in the Bible itself. And then we're going to finish by reading page 15 about who wrote the Bible and how it was inspired by God. Then we're going to skip to 22 and 23, which shows how to mark your Bible. And no, I don't want them to mark up our Bibles, but I have a copy of the first page of the Bible with the creation story. And each room will have this Bible as well as some examples of how I highlighted in the beginning, how I made notes about how that's day 1, day 2, day 3, key words that stood out to me as an example. But they're all going to get a blank page, just black and white, that they can then practice, highlighting what they want to, so that they can either, go home and try it in their Bible, or if they brought their own and they want to, that's their Bible, they're welcome to do so. But we want to show them kind of the idea of how to do it before we turn them loose with highlighters. So that'll be the next part. If time permits, at the end, you can always show them the intro page in the Hands-On Bible right before Genesis. It has some fun highlights of the book. Again, no idea how long this will take. We don't want to rush them if they're really enjoying a particular part. You be the guide, you decide. But that's something we wanted to at least provide and just get them opening Bibles, searching for things, working together, and see how that goes. And give me feedback if it was way too much, not enough, but we're hoping it'll be just right. Thanks.